Today we are joined by Kristen Schott, the deputy editor of Lifestyle Weddings at Philadelphia Magazine and the editorial director of Philadelphia Wedding.
Just
And there's our dog running upstairs. Kristen has spent years shaping how weddings are told, seen, and understood, not just in Philly, but across multiple markets. From real wedding features to vendor stories, she sits at the intersection of storytelling, culture, and celebration, and brings a thoughtful human lens to an industry that I think is often misunderstood. We're excited to talk to her about how editorial really works, what gets missed in the conversation around being featured, and how weddings continue to evolve in meaningful ways. Kristen, welcome to Talk of the Aisle.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so just happy that you are here. I feel like you have so much knowledge to share. And not only is Kristen like an incredible editor, she's also a really amazing human being. So we feel really honored to share this space with you. And we'll look forward to our conversation.
The feeling is mutual. I think you two are so wonderful, not only with what you do as photographers and videographers and with this, but also just getting to know you has been great. So
mutual love. So let's just jump right in. I would love to hear, how did you get into the magazine world?
Yeah, so I've always been a big reader of everything and anything I can get my hands on. I'll read the back of soup cans. I'll read newspapers. I used to go downstairs every morning with my dad with a sack of books and read just one page out of each of them when I was like 5 or 6, when he'd be reading the Orange County Register. I'm from Orange County, California. So I thought I would go into book publishing. I went to school for English and creative writing, and that was what I was solely focused on. But because life doesn't work out the way you plan, and it's also very hard to apply for book publishing jobs from California. I have type 1 diabetes, and I always volunteered at a camp for children with type 1 diabetes. And the owner of that camp knew the owner of a local business publication, and he put me in contact, and I started there as a temp. And then I moved up to copy editing, and then I was there. I had many roles at this company. It's OC Metro Business, and it was all business all the time, which is not my favorite thing.
I just took a deep breath for you.
yeah, it was but it gave me the stepping stones to go on to the next publication I went to. I met my editor at that first magazine. When she moved on to a new magazine, she took me with her. And then, so I was at Modern Luxury Orange County for 6 years. Then I moved to DC, and I took on the editor-in-chief role as at Modern Luxury DC. And then life happens, and I ended up at Philly Mag, and I've been at Philly Mag for 6 years.
Wow.
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you miss California?
Right now, yes.
And for those listening, there's like a foot of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And like 10 degrees.
Yeah. It's funny though. I will always have a soft spot for California. It's a beautiful place. It was a beautiful place to grow up. I'm a big wine aficionado, and wine in California was basically at your fingertips.
Yeah.
So I really miss that, but I love how quickly you can get from point A to point B out here. You know, you can go from Philly to New York very quickly, Philly to DC, Philly to Europe. It's much easier here. Yeah. And it's more cosmopolitan. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy you're here. We're happy that your journey led to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So just to kind of get a reference of time, how old were you when you first got that internship?
I think I was fresh out of college.
Okay.
So that was, I've been in the magazine industry for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, well, 20 years next year. So almost 20 years. My entire career has been in magazines, and definitely magazines that, I started in business and now I'm in lifestyle. And I think lifestyle and wedding is a much better fit for me than business. But it's been such a great journey, and it's been a hard journey because magazines and the media industry, as we all know, has suffered a lot. And when I started, I think in 2007. That was during the recession. So that was not a great time to be starting at a magazine.
Yeah.
But I've learned so much along the way, and I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I still love holding a magazine.
Yes, good.
And I don't think I'll ever stop. And I feel like the more we get into like just the digital age that we live in, the more I really just appreciate a tangible item that I can just slowly flip through, that I can highlight with a highlighter,
make notes.
Yes. Yeah. And vision boards. I mean, I don't know if vision boards are still a thing. They're still a thing for me. Like, I just like cut things up.
Oh, me too.
The tangible.
All of the magazines I have are just covered in sticky notes and like, this is great inspiration and things like that. And the beauty of a magazine is you don't have to read the whole thing right then. You can keep coming back to it. You can keep them for years and years.
Yeah. Versus like bookmarking a website that you're never going to come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of value in digital.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. But for me, magazines are always number one.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's good to feel that way based on what you do.
Yeah.
But I also think like our generation, we grew up without digital. So I think there's that appreciation for the tangible.
Yeah.
And then I do think naturally the older you get, the more you appreciate everything. So just like, it's like a good book, being able to have a good book in your hand is such a nice experience versus like reading on a Kindle.
Yes.
But yeah.
So I refuse to read it on a Kindle. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I am guilty because I became a self-proclaimed minimalist years ago, and I decided because I read every day, so I didn't want to have clutter. We still have a lot of books.
I'm a maximalist.
Girl, you have no idea.
Together, you're perfect.
It's crazy. I don't know how it works, but it works. But yeah, but I do appreciate that. Like, and in hindsight, I'm like, oh, it'd be so nice to be able to just see my books, but I have a written list on an Excel spreadsheet. So there's that.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm like a little weird about it. But anyway.
We all have our things.
Yeah. So to move on, you've held senior editorial roles across multiple wedding publications, like you said, and now oversee weddings and lifestyle at Philadelphia Magazine. So when you zoom out, what has changed most in how weddings are covered since you first entered the space?
Yeah, I think about this a lot. When I first started, I think one of the biggest shifts, and I talked about this a couple of days ago, is how personalized weddings have become. I think we've been going through this shift for a while where tradition isn't dictating every single thing that goes into anything we do. Yeah. But in particular weddings, you don't have to say your vows a certain way. You don't have to do the flowers a certain way. You don't have to wear a white dress. You can really do whatever you want. And when I first started, I think we were kind of right on the cusp of that, just kind of coming out of that. And I do think social media and like Instagram and all these visuals online have really given couples more
permission.
Yeah. They're seeing things that other people are doing and they're like, wow, I don't have to have a cake cutting if I don't want to, So I think social media has been really great in that aspect because it's opening doors for couples to see how other people are doing things. I do, and I think I said this to you before, something that I've noticed specifically over the last couple of years is that when couples are submitting their photos to us at the magazine, they're a lot more particular than they used to be about what they want featured. And a lot of couples are coming to us and asking if they can see what photos we're going to use beforehand. And editorially, we don't do that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So then how do you handle that question? Carefully.
Yeah, very carefully. I know weddings are so emotional. It's so emotional. It's such a big day. And I don't want anyone to be upset by the covers that we do in our magazines. I mean, we're celebrating your love story. what I want to do is put the best, put you forward
in the best
in your best light. And I do have to say, like, our art team and we work extremely hard to make sure that we get beautiful photos. We pull the most beautiful photos.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like 99% of the time, I will go back to the couple and say, hey, that is not we can't do that. And most of the time, couples are okay with it. I've had some couples say, well, then we don't want to be featured. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And then in very rare instances, we will share the photos are coming from the couples and the photographers, so they already know what they're submitting.
Yeah.
So we'll take a number of photos that we're considering and we'll send them to the couple and we'll say, these are the ones that we're looking at. Let us know if there's like anything you truly hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say it's interesting because they're the ones providing it, so you'd think that they would. But I think, like, as you are sharing that, I know we've dealt with like our female clients who can be really hard on themselves and just like when we're objectively like, you are absolutely gorgeous and this is amazing, but like even like you'd be surprised, like someone might have a beautiful photo of them like laughing, but they're like, I don't like the way I look when I laugh, and we're like, oh my god,
yeah,
you're joy.
Good. Yeah.
So I know it's hard to balance all that.
Yeah, and I do feel like this is also like the dark side of social media, where everything is curated and beautiful, and you have that comparison, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, think about it for yourself too. Like, photos get posted of me all the time speaking, and like, wow, I did not like that. Yeah, and it's a letting go of that is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, even I experience that. Like, so I just don't look at pictures of myself. Like, if something shared, like, I don't dwell on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the one that has to look at me. So whatever. I don't, like if I'm getting a haircut, I'm like, babe, is this okay? She's like, I don't care. Do you want it? I'm like, yeah, but you have to look at me. So
would you say that? No.
So I think it's like, it's universal. I mean, unless someone's completely like, I 100% identify as myself being absolutely perfect, but I'm just like, I think it's really hard to just not do the comparison thing. So like, I know for me, mental health wise, especially now, it's like really good to just limit social media exposure across the board, because it could get sucked in, but diverging there. But yeah.
I've taken a different approach to seeing myself in photos. Like if I don't particularly love myself in photos, I look at it as like a doorway into, okay, how can I love myself more in that photo?
Ooh,
And
I like that.
Yeah. And it's kind of like reframed. And like, I feel like, yes, I can take very unflattering photos, but I don't ever really look at photos anymore and like criticize myself. And I feel like that practice has like really helped, I don't know, to see myself differently.
And that's advice you give to other women as well, which is always received really well. I prefer ignoring. That's fine. Works for me. But like, yeah, like I think like just like your body, it's just like, this is what you're given, like cherish it, take care of it, appreciate it, and all that stuff. And I'm kind of like, I've been working on that and just actually taking care of myself now that I'm in my 40s. Thank you. I know I don't look it, but just kind of like that side of it. But I think like, that's why I love like her perspectives on things, because she just sees the world in a different way. So that always ends up rubbing off on me. But
no, that's great. Like that's such good perspective. And I mean, I think this is something I tell couples too, but like you kind of have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because maybe you don't love how you look in that photo when you're laughing, but you're laughing. You're having a great time. Like that's a great moment,
Yeah. There's this one woman that I photographed recently. She's stunning. And, but we were in Costa Rica and we were at a waterfall, and our one friend was splashing her, and she like kicked her leg up and she was like, ah! And it was just like so beautiful. And she like was really critiquing herself. And I was like, babe, when you are 70 years old, I hope you look back at this. I'm like, I hope you look back at this photo and you show your grandkids or whoever and be like, this is who I was, because it just radiates joy and just life. Like there's so much aliveness in it. And yeah, I don't know really.
Well,
where I was going
it's
with
funny
that,
because I was thinking, like, the way I think about it and the work that we do in documenting weddings is I like fast forward and then look back. Because if I look back like at photos of us as a young family with our children, I objectively photographs are horrible, but I'm just like so in love with them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is life,
yeah,
so it's a similar kind of approach. But
yeah. We went really down a rabbit hole.
yeah, I don't know how I got here. We're feeling particularly emotional today, guys.
So moving on to more wedding stuff. From your seat, what role does a publication like Philadelphia Wedding Magazine play in a wedding ecosystem today?
Yeah, so I think what a regional magazine such as Philadelphia Wedding has that other bigger national brands don't have is we're in the community. We know the vendors we're talking about. I talk to you, I email you, I see you at events, and that's not, that's not something that other brands can do.
Yeah.
And we're also so hyper local to Philadelphia that we're specifically talking to Philadelphia couples who are getting married. We're not talking to couples in California.
Yeah.
We're talking to couples here. So I think we have a benefit because we can be so hyper specialized and we can show you the venues that you should look at for your wedding here in the city. We can tell you about the photographers in the city that you should use. It's not this huge list of all over the world, all over the country. It's
Right.
here in Philly. And so I think that's our biggest, I mean, we're big on inspiration too, but I think our what we do best is showcase the local community
Yeah.
in the community that we're in.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like
I love that.
it's like it's practical inspiration and insight, and you're lifting up our community by showcasing the talent here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also love that, like, you guys, it's almost like the veil is lifted. Cause like in our early years, it'd be like, oh, a magazine editor, like, whoa, like they wouldn't like ever return an email or something. Like, there's no way to know who they are, really, right? Whereas, like, you're in the community, like you
Yeah.
said, and I think it just feels very comforting and makes us feel as vendors like you guys really care, and it's not just about the couples; it's about the industry itself.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we love to share the stories of the couples, but I mean, we want to show your work. The reason these weddings, I mean, the reason these weddings happen is because the couples are in love. But
Yeah.
the reason they are so beautiful is because of what you all bring to the table. And
Yeah.
it's really, like I said earlier, it's an honor to be able to shine the spotlight on, people that we know. And I love that about a regional magazine.
Yeah.
And along the lines of like being featured, so people often assume getting featured is like the end goal, but how do you think about the real value of editorial coverage for couples and vendors?
I actually really, when I was trying to think this question, it took me a while to land on what I think, because I think that there's so many different angles to it. I think the getting featured it's like the medal you get at the end of a marathon.
Yeah.
You don't need it, but it's a nice perk.
Yeah.
It's something that you can, I mean, I'm looking at my marathon medals right now. It's
Subtle plug.
What'd you say? Yeah.
Subtle plug, yeah.
It's something you can, if you want, cut out and hang on your wall. It's something you can show your kids someday. Hey, look at this really cool moment when our wedding was featured. Like, that's a really fun thing.
Yeah.
And then I also think, I think I don't know how many couples feel this way, but I think it would be wonderful if couples are like, we did some really cool things. I want to inspire other couples that they can do things like this.
Yeah.
And I actually I get emails sometimes from brides or grooms saying that, they want to get their wedding featured because they used the magazine so much in planning their own wedding. I had a bride tell me that on Tuesday, which is always, that's always so wonderful to hear, like great real world examples of us doing what we're here to do.
Yeah.
I think that's that for couples. For vendors, I think, you're vendors, but I think it's to spotlight work that has been really impactful for you,
Yeah.
that really shows off your talent.
Yeah.
I would imagine vendors are not sending every single wedding that they do ever to me. While each wedding is beautiful in its own unique way, you want to show something inspirational to a couple. I mean, you want to get more clients through the pages.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's some of it. Yeah. So I think it's being inspiration and then also showing off your incredible work.
Yeah. The inspiration. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Inspiration is definitely a big one for me. Like, again, like you said, like every wedding is so beautiful, but sometimes you get those couples that are just like, F all the rules. We're going to really be personalized in what it is that we want and bring a really rare and unique experience to our couples. And I love when people do that, like when they dig a bit deeper and they combine the things that truly matter to them and create like a truly unique celebration. So
I like along the same lines too. For me, a big part of it is like being able to really feel the energy of the experience and like the personalities and like, because you know, like aesthetics don't matter if there's no heart. You know? So I think like for us, and that's what we love about the work we do, is showcasing the heart of it and also the reality, and just kind of marrying those two, pun intended, but like just kind of really being intentional on that side of things. And like that jazzes me up, because the longer we do this, roughly the same amount of time you've been in the industry, you know, the more that's the thing that we kind of take away as what really matters in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, that's what weddings are about too, is what matters in the long run.
Well, right. But it's like, but you have to unfortunately say that out loud.
Yeah.
Right. Because it is so easy to get distracted, you know, and that's where publications like yours and just the way certain vendors put out their work, and the way that couples are sharing what they did is important, because it can kind of redirect the light in the right way.
Yeah. I do. This is something I want to do down the line with Philadelphia Wedding. I would love to do a little more behind the scenes from the vendor perspective, because I think it's very important for people who are getting married to really understand how much work you all put into it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that we always do that justice. And I think there should be more room for that in our magazine. And that's something I'd like to bring into the future.
I don't think it's just like, I think it's just like everywhere. Like most couples don't really understand what goes in behind the scenes to make that celebration happen. You know, even like for you, like couples have no idea what it's like behind the scenes for you to put this magazine out. So I think maybe you should also include yourself in that.
Yeah, be like, hey, I just want to get
everyone wants to read.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's more of a podcast you would share.
Yeah.
You know? No, I love that idea, because it's also like, and you know, because you know a lot of vendors, like it's a spectrum on how people work, how intentional they are, what their values are, what they care about. Because that is not consistent across the board at all. You know, which is like, it's fascinating, interesting, sometimes frustrating and upsetting, but like ultimately it's just really interesting, because you can look at, you know, a set of photographs from two different vendors, photographers, for example, and be like, okay, I'm going to make assumptions based on what I'm seeing here, but then connecting with the vendor and understanding their process and everything completely changes how you view and feel about the work.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah. So walk us through like how a wedding feature or a vendor story moves from like submission to publication.
Yeah. So Real Weddings and then the rest of our copy, our content, they're two very different verticals.
Yeah.
So I'll start with weddings, Real Wedding submissions. So as many people know, we have our Real Weddings inbox, realweddings@phillymag.com, submit your wedding. And that is where all the weddings go. And I manage that inbox on top of my personal inbox for work. And so there are hundreds of submissions that come through there. And I try to I monitor it as much as possible, but it's also like a full-time job to just monitor that thing.
Yeah.
So I end up really doing it hyper-focused while we're in these submission periods. So I'll go through those. And then after I've done like an initial round of looking at the emails and pinpointing weddings that stood out to me in some way, or that I think our art team will really like, or I can get into the weeds on that. But after that, then it expands a lot. One of the things I want to drive home is I am not the only person making these decisions here. It is not
You
just
hear it
me.
here
Like,
first.
I'm sorry.
I said, you hear it here. She's not the only one.
I can't blame her for everything.
There's a whole team, and I would never want that weight to just fall on one person.
Yeah.
There needs to be different perspectives.
Yeah.
There need to be different eyeballs. So once I've kind of looked through the weddings, I'll bring them to my art team, and we'll narrow down those hundreds to like say 40 or 50. And we'll spend a couple days going through these weddings, figuring out, we have to look at all the different like boxes it's like putting a puzzle together. It's like, we need to make sure we hit vendors in the suburbs and in the city. We have some industrial, and then we have some classic, and then we need to make sure we're not using all the same florist in every single wedding or all the same photographer. We need to make sure there's variety in color in the decor scheme, that it's not all like, not everything is bright pink or not everything is white. There was one year we got so many white and black submissions. I was like, what are we going to do? Because there's, you don't want to just show the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
We want to make sure the stories are different, that, the stories of the couples are different. There's diversity in the couples and the cultures themselves. That is a huge factor of what we do. We want to include, be as inclusive as possible. So there's so many things we have to think about while we're just narrowing down to 6 or 7. And it is hard. And a lot of times I have to say goodbye to weddings that I like love dearly.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you like them like I do?
Yeah. That sounds hard.
So after that, then the weddings then my editor sees them, and it's usually a go ahead at that point. In terms of the features, a lot of the feature ideas come from talking to the vendors. I get great ideas just from chatting with you at events, or sometimes an email will pop up in my inbox, and I'm like, oh, that's a great thing you're dealing with, or that's a great new option you're giving to couples. So it'll start there. I follow the trends. I hate that word. I hate trends, but
I know.
You have to.
We're gonna bleep that out.
But like, you kind of have to. You have to follow. You have to see what's going on in the industry. So I read other bridal publications, other wedding magazines. I look religiously at social media, and then we'll come up with the lineup for the magazine. All the different pages that we need, and then we'll get those approved by my team. Most of the time, our editorial team likes what I'm putting forth. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I am the wedding expert.
You're good at what you do.
So they generally are, pretty jazzed by what's going to be in the magazine. So that's how it gets to like what we're going to put into the magazine. And then from there, then comes the actual like laying out and the story creation and everything else.
Yeah.
That's a ton of work.
It's a process.
It's fun though. It's it is a ton of work.
Yeah. Well, but also for you, like you've done it hundreds of thousands of times. So it's like second nature, just like us photographing or filming a wedding. But like from an outsider perspective, it's like, I appreciate the amount that goes into it, and you're not even fully explaining, so you don't need to. But like,
I would
it's just it's not as simple as just like, oh, let's just like choose this, put it together. Like everything has to have the right context with each other, and like I'm sure it's just you could endlessly tweak it too. I'm sure.
Oh yes, changes happen until the last possible instant. Like at some point, they have to take things away from me, because I will just sit there and be like, no, we could say that a little differently, or maybe we can, you gotta let go. It's important.
Yeah. What a great practice, letting it go.
Ugh.
So then with submissions, like what immediately makes you lean in when you see something that comes through? Like what is something that might signal as well, like that's something that's automatically like not a fit? So like to ask both sides of that.
Yeah. So it's so hard. It really is. Like I love it. I love going through all these weddings, but it's so hard because you're gonna have to turn down couples. And I think one of the biggest, I mean, just it's- one of the biggest things is if the photos aren't strong enough to be in a magazine,
Fair.
that's an obvious no.
Yeah.
Like
Regardless of anything else.
yeah, because at the end of the day, we have a brand to
Mhm.
put out. We have standards.
Yeah.
And if the photos just aren't, if they're blurry, if they're, if it's 10 photos of the same like flowers and then nothing else, or like 35 of the couple and then nothing else, I'll go back and ask for more. And then often there aren't. And that sucks because there's often really great stories that we can't tell because the visuals just
Don't align.
don't do it justice. So that's an obvious no off the bat. In terms of making me want to lean in, I try. For a while I was going straight to the photos because those are, I mean, the photos drive a lot of the
Yeah.
magazine. But I have gotten away from that practice because I want to really absorb the couple's story first, the couple's story, and also all of the vendors involved. And so it takes a little more time, but like really getting to know the couple before I even look at the photos is helpful and kind of fun because then I read about like all these great things that their vendors did and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see that.
Cool.
And then I'll open the gallery and I'm like, yes, it's even better.
Yeah.
That kind of goes into the idea of like understanding more about the people involved makes things better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could make things better.
And also what I'm hearing is hire a good photographer.
Ideally, ideally one featured in your magazine.
Yeah.
You may
No,
know
I mean,
some.
you are all so talented. The photographers in Philly,
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
that I've had the pleasure of working with, you all bring such a great eye to
Yeah.
things that,
I agree.
I mean, I don't see. So until I see it in your photos. So
Yeah.
that's always been such a pleasure. I would also say that a lot of times if a planner will come up to me at an event and start telling me about this wedding they're really excited about, that gets me excited even before it lands in my inbox because I'm like, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like that's kind of goes to the relationship side of things where you're plugged into the industry, where you're talking about potential features before the wedding even happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're just like that connected. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you're an editor, a writer, and a creative. What part of this job still lights you up? Because you've been doing it for a while. So what still makes it alive for you?
I think one of the great things about working in magazines is every day is a little different. Yeah, you have the things that you have to do, but almost every day you're writing or talking about someone who's different than who you were spotlighting the day before. Yeah, we work on stories from like start to finish, but there's always multiple stories to see in a day. And then for me personally, like putting the magazine together is just so much fun. Just me coming up with like this idea, for our most recent catering feature, for example, I had this thing that I wanted to do and I wrote it out and I put some visuals and I presented it to our art team and I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do. And then they take that initial like spark of an idea and they make it beautiful. Seeing it come together each stage is really cool. It's finding out what the caterers are going to literally bring to the table that we can photograph, the story behind the food we can share, and then seeing how Tisha, our art director, lays it all out on the page and then laboring over how we're going to, like, what the headline's going to be. And the headline's always the hardest part, just because you want to say everything in like 2 words.
Yeah. And you have to like grab people in those 2 words.
Yeah. And you don't want to use a headline you've used before, which
I'm sure it gets limiting after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the wedding side.
Yeah, so putting the pieces together, and also travel. That's become, so I handle the travel for Philly Mag, and that to me has been a lot of fun to be able to get into more and more. And I do want to bring more of that into wedding as well, not just honeymoons, because there's travel all around weddings.
Yeah.
But I want to do it obviously with a Philly angle. So I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. So,
Good.
me?
Yep.
Okay. So, has your proximity to weddings changed how you personally view celebration, commitment, or rituals?
Yeah, 100%. I think to use myself as an example, when I got married, 14 years, it'll be 14 years this year. You know, my there were traditions that we did not want to do, and it was a battle, and in some points with my parents.
Yeah.
Well, one parent.
Yeah.
And I going through that and then looking at it now, I'm like, wow, it didn't need to be so much of a struggle. It's your wedding,
Yeah.
you can do tradition like we talked about earlier. You can do tradition however you want to do tradition. You can make your own. You can do a twist on the classic. It doesn't have to be in a Catholic church, or you don't have to do a cake cutting if you're I'm celiac, and we did a cake cutting, even though 14 years ago there weren't very many gluten-free cakes. So that was like the thing that we had to do. And I'm like, if we were to get married today, we would have done that much differently.
Yeah. That's so, I do love that weddings are becoming less about pleasing other people and more about truth of yourself.
Yeah. I love how you say that. It's about truth and the belief in your love story. And that's really, at the end of the day, all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there is something to be said for the person paying for the wedding.
Yeah, I know. That's where it gets.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
But I will assume that as the generations go on, that will have less friction.
Yeah.
I feel like our parents' generation, boomers,
Yes.
the way they think are differently than millennials, right? So, like, I think as millennial parents, that we are going to be like,
whatever you want.
We're gonna be like,
how
can we make this more weird?
Yeah.
But like, stop being normal.
Yeah. And I feel like it just keeps getting more and more just open, I guess, to possibility.
So I have a question for you too.
Yeah.
When your kids get married, are you going to photograph the wedding?
Absolutely not.
Hell no. We're just going to be soaking up every single
I'm going to be on the dance floor.
I think we're going to, I mean, they're going to choose, right? It's going to be their choice.
Yeah.
Like, we will gladly make suggestions.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, like, I think at the end of the day, as long as we can just be part of it, we'll be grateful, and I just, like, at every wedding, we're just always moments that we're just like, we look at each other and we just have, and some are obviously more emotional than others, but it's just, we've been envisioning those days for 18 years.
Yeah.
And we could definitely wait. This doesn't have to happen anytime soon, but I think it's going to be so special. So I think Melissa and I are particularly going to be easy to work with.
Yeah. We're going to be supporting players of whatever they decide.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Make sure you show them this whenever they do.
I'm like, oh, the episode's deleted off of your. I don't know what you're referring to, girls. That never happened. Yeah, we turn into monsters. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
I think it will be too much for them in that we are going to be too, like, emotionally involved.
Yeah.
I think that's the part where we'll have to kind of temper ourselves. Anyway, it's stop. Your turn.
Sorry. I'm a reporter. That's what I do. I ask questions.
When your dog gets married, how are you going to be?
Well, let me tell you.
I remember, I think it was probably pre-COVID. There was a photographer.
Sarah Murray, right?
No, because it was Danielle and what was her husband's name? Oscar?
Will.
Yeah, like their dogs got like featured in magazines. They threw a wedding for them, and then like it went viral. There was like this fight, but it was like so cute, like beautifully photographed, and like Sarah Murray was involved in all it.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think her dog was like maybe the ring bearer or something. I don't know. It was adorable though.
Yeah, so I mean, that'd be a cool feature. Listen,
Really a
we're
child
throwing out all, yeah, anyone's dogs when they get married.
Yeah.
I would say in terms of pets in weddings, I don't know about you, but I do love how much people are bringing their pets into weddings.
Yes.
They're members of your family
They
too.
are. They are. It's so funny. Every time we have a couple that ask us, like, how do you feel about pets? I was like, how do I feel about pets?
It happened last night. We were doing a call with a couple, and they were like, "How do you feel about dogs?" And they were like, "I'm gonna go get mine." I was like, "This." I'm like,
Let me tell you.
"We live with them."
I was like, how do you feel about me just like snuggling your dog with love on your day for just like a little bit?
Yeah, and that's why I love the like the dog sitter vendors. You know,
Yeah.
like that service, so brilliant. And because like like your animal is your family, so I think
Yeah.
to incorporate them in some capacity if you can is obvious.
Yeah. I mean, what a great business model too. I mean, we just had a story in the latest issue about how to bring your dog or your cat
Nice.
into a wedding because it's a little complicated.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Right. And some dogs are much more challenging than others. And yeah, we've had a fair amount of couples that are like, we would love to, but we can't. So then we'll be like, well, just have them at prep, or do a few photos before you get in your dress.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So if you could give one piece of advice to couples who are feeling overwhelmed by comparison, what would you share with them?
I would say, and I think I might have said this before, so sorry if I'm repetitive, but just take a step back, breathe, look at your relationship and your love story, and remember that that's what matters. It doesn't matter what this couple did or that couple did or what that couple in this magazine did or what's trending. What matters is what you want and how you want to celebrate your love. And you should do that however you want to.
Yeah.
That was
Go
nice.
your own way.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if kids these days know that song.
Well, I
They
do.
should.
That's all that matters.
Wise words.
Yes.
which is like logically makes sense, but I know for some it's just hard to kind of break that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say it's so easy to get caught up in that, especially today with social media
Yeah.
and magazines.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So tell us, is there anything that you are currently promoting?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
So we're currently taking submissions for our summer fall issue, which comes out in June. So we'll be taking submissions till February 20th or so. And you can email your wedding to realweddings@phillymag.com. You can get all the details on how to submit at phillymag.com/submityourwedding. And yeah, I would love couples to submit. I would love vendors to submit. It's a joy to see them all.
Yeah. And you extended the deadline, right?
I did extend it because
Thank you for doing that.
I am behind.
So am I. So thank you.
Yeah, my wedding memo was due 2 weeks ago, and I haven't had time. So
That's good. Better for everyone else.
Yeah.
yes.
I have a couple that I'm going to send your way that I just through this conversation. I'm like,
no pressure.
yeah, zero. Oh my God, zero.
Yeah.
But just like
No,
having this
it's fine.
conversation, it really inspired me. They're just like a couple weddings that just came to my mind of like, oh my gosh, don't forget to send them.
Yay. Well, I can't wait to see them.
Yeah. But
Well, thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing all your wisdom.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, we appreciate you so much for not only being here, but for all the work that you do for our industry.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And
and Carrie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.